Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Flavio Mansi. He's the president of IGWT to discuss the future of blockchain. And Flavio, what a great time to be talking about this technology with all of us working from home and just seeing what those investments in technology are doing for our businesses. Tell us a bit about IGWT's Tessa-B.
Certainly. So thank you for having me, Jill.
Of course.
It's a pleasure to come back now, even if it's virtually. So we have been working on the development of Tessa-B, the blockchain platform, to change the way that that mobile phones are purchased or sold and purchased, secondhand mobile phones. We've been at it for over a year now, and we are advancing quite fast. And of course, at this point where we are seeing the importance of connectivity skyrocket. Everybody needs to be connected wherever they are, as is the case between you and I right now. So the need for sort of smartphones for everyone is even higher than it was before. At the same time, and an unfortunate consequence of this situation is the economic downturn that is happening around the world, and therefore people having a harder time on purchasing the top of the line brand new devices. So I believe that the demand for secondhand devices is going to explode. And also the need to be able to transact without going into stores, and to be able to bridge the gap of trust between the seller and the buyer. And this is exactly what we're focused on our blockchain platform being able to do, is taking advantage of leveraging the blockchain itself in order to provide trust as to what it is, the product that you're buying, and what it is, the product that you're getting. So make sure that the product that you're being offered is the one that you're going to get, and also to be able to hook and utilize smart contracts in order for that transaction to actually take place and for funds to exchange hands between the buyer and the seller. And by making the entire ecosystem that much more efficient and getting rid of so many middlemen, we're obviously reducing the cost of the whole process, therefore making the transaction more efficient, being able for the seller to sell for a little bit more while the buyer is actually paying a little bit less. So basically cutting off the fat at a time where clearly people are not in the best situation to be spending money that is not creating any value.
Yeah, I think even outside of the secondhand market, but the primary market as well, anytime you can cut out those inefficiencies, it just makes it affordable for the consumer at the end. Let's talk about investor outreach and the use of blockchain. It seems to be that blockchain just isn't a fad word anymore. This is a longer term trend. And certainly we've seen that with newer technologies as we understand what it's going to look like post-COVID-19.
I agree 100%. So I think from the very beginning, when we started looking at how we could revolutionize the industry that we participate in, which is the mobile phone industry, we started looking at, so what technologies are out there? And basically our view is, can technology replace middlemen? Can we make things more efficient by utilizing technology that is either out there or that we can develop ourselves? And while looking at the different pieces of all of this, we started learning about blockchain a couple of years ago, when of course it was the height of blockchain at that point, but we were looking at it just as a technology, just as a tool that will make what we want to do better. And we identified back then, and are convinced that our decision was the right one, that blockchain as a technology is really what allows us to bring together many other pieces and just sort of cement all of the initiative that we have and be able to create this ecosystem. So over the time since the last time that you and I spoke, we have picked the protocol that we're using. So we're building on top of Near because of several reasons, just the speed, the cost of doing it, the scalability, et cetera, and have been working aggressively on building our first smart contracts, the first data repositories where all of the condition of the phones is going to fall. So that is really what's going to make this ecosystem thrive. As we move forward, we have also built our proof of concept businesses, where you can actually go today and start seeing what it is that we are planning on launching over the next few months, and how the proof of concept businesses are going to also be sort of the launch pad of all of the different functionality that the platform will allow us to introduce to consumers. So that's the plan that we had from the beginning. It is now actually materializing, which is great. You can actually go and start buying products and start seeing what these pieces and what these functions that are enabled by blockchain are going to be introduced to the people. Again, keeping it very simple. We're not trying to make this complicated and for people to understand what's happening behind the scenes. Whatever happens on the back end and the usage of blockchain and the technology, this and that. The idea is that for the transaction to be absolutely seamless and consumer friendly, and I think that's what, if anything, was missing from the concept of blockchain. Is it was too techy and too difficult to understand. Our take on it is, let's use it as a tool to make things easier, more transparent, and just a better user experience altogether. So I think once you get to that point, then people really are transacting with you just because it is a better experience, because they find products to be a better price at the condition that they expected, just overall a better experience for the consumer, which is also obviously very easy to understand from an investor position. So rather than going and limiting yourself to high-tech, fintech investors that understand the back end and that really get into the technology itself, you can open up to just people that clearly understand what are the benefits and how you are going to disintermediate an industry valued at close to $100 billion, and you're going to be able to make that so much more efficient and then just make a better experience for the consumer.
All right, Flavio, great to catch up with you as always. Thanks so much for joining us on Trade Talks.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.